Hey guys, it's Morgan, and today I'm doing kind of a mix of a video. I'm going to talk about the books I read in May and June, but I also bought 3 books off Amazon that I want to show you guys because I'm not going to have a separate video for that. I got the Stormbreaker graphic novel, the Eagle Strike graphic novel, and the Scorpia graphic novel. They're all in the Alex Rider series. This is the first one, the 4th one, and then Scorpia is the 5th one. And these are all the graphic novels they have out so far. But I'm kind of bummed that these are like way bigger, like huge. But the novels are a lot bigger than the other ones. Anyway, these are just some that I ordered off of Amazon. I got the 2nd and 3rd one off of Book Outlet, and they had the 1st one, but by the time I bought the books, they were out of it. So I found them on Amazon, and I'm really glad I got them. I'm not the biggest fan of graphic novels, but I'm starting to kind of get into them, and I am a little upset I'm reading this one because they base it off the movie instead of the book, and that's just kind of disappointing because they changed some stuff for the movie, and it's based off the movie and not the book. Probably because the movie is visual and the book isn't, but ugh. I'm a little bummed about that. The good thing, though, is that they didn't make any other movies, so all the other graphic novels will be based off the books. But yeah, those are the 3 books that I got. By the way, this series is by Anthony Horowitz, and the graphic novels were adapted by Anthony Johnson, and the name, oh my gosh, it does. See, it has like all the movie information on the bottom. So, it told me in here, oh, the illustrators are Kanako Damriam and Yuzuri Takasaki. However you say those names. Those are the illustrators. Anyhow, into the books I read, I have one one Kindle book, and it was called Off Guard by Marion T. This is just a picture of the cover. That was a Kindle book. I have this moth that keeps flying in my face. And I gave that 2 stars. It's just like the short story is a romantic story, and it was really just not my favorite story. But yeah, 2 stars. It was okay, I suppose. Next I have my 4-star reads. I only had 4 and 5-star reads besides that book. So I have Eagle Strike by Anthony Horowitz. This is the 4th graphic novel is based off of. This is the 4th book in the Alex Rider series. This one is just another mission with Alex. It does have a character from the 1st book that is a bad guy who comes back into the story. So yeah, this one was good. The mission is basically there's this really rich guy who's creating this virtual reality game, and basically he's a bad guy. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. The next 4-star read I had was The Reluctant Assassin by Ian Colfer. I still have no idea how to say that name. This is a time travel book. I had read this book before and I'd really liked it, and then I had bought the 2nd book, and I had the 2nd book for years, but I couldn't remember what happened in the 1st book except for like the main plot of the book. And so I found it on Book Outlet, and I bought it, and I read it, and I'm so glad I did because it was so good. It follows 2 kids. One's named Riley. He's from Victorian London, and then the other is named Chevron. That's her name, right? Chevron? Yep. Her name is Chevron. Okay. So it follows Riley, who's in Victorian London. Basically, he's an apprentice to an assassin. And the other character is Chevron, and she's based in the present. And she is basically an FBI agent, but she's like 16 or something. She's young. It was like a trial run. They did this thing in America with a bunch of kids, and it didn't work out so great, and they sent her to London to kind of wait for the story to die down. And so she's guarding this time machine capsule. She doesn't know what it is, but she's there with this other adult agent, and they just live in this house and do nothing because there's nothing to do. And so it starts out with Riley and his master, or whatever you want to call him. And he's on a mission, like an assassination mission, and he wants Riley to do it. Riley doesn't want to kill anybody, hence the reluctant assassin. And so then things get crazy, and there's time travel, and psychos, and they end up going back in time to Victorian London, and it's really cool. I just really like this story. I haven't read the second book yet, but I'm really excited too, because I know what happened in the first book now, and that was a really long explanation of this book. Okay, the next 4-star read I had was Legend by Marie Lu. This is the second time I've read this book. I've read this one and Prodigy, and I have Champion, but I've never read it. And so I'm rereading the Legend and Prodigy books so I can finish the series. I also have Legend in a graphic novel, and I believe that's all my graphic novels, is this book, and then the 5 Alex Rider books. So I haven't read, like, graphic novels that are original works yet. But anyway, this, if you don't know, is about a girl named June, and she is a person of privilege, and she is a very upper-class family, and they have this test that they give kids when they turn a certain age. I think it's like 10 or 12 or something. And if they don't pass, then they are basically taken by the government and shipped away. And if you do pass, then good for you, and the lower your score is on the passing end, the poverty area, they always get the lower scores, and then the richer area, you always get the higher scores, and so the higher your score is, the better your profession can be. And so June gets a perfect score, and Day is the other character it follows, and he is from the poverty side of the city, and he fails, and is not sent where the government says they send the kids who fail. And then there's a murder and mystery, and who killed the person, and June is trying to figure out where this person is. So it's good. A lot of people have read this book already. It's kind of an older one of her books. What's the copyright in here? So, don't tell me. This came out in 2013, so it's been 5 years. So a lot of people have heard of this book. Okay, now I have some 5-star reads. I've got Skeleton Key, which is the 3rd book in the Alex Rider series. And if you have seen my book haul from Book Outlet, then you will know I'm disappointed in the cover of this book, because this is what my covers look like, and this cover was supposed to look like this, a Skull and Crossbones. And that's the picture it showed me of this book when I added it to my cart and bought it, and they sent me this. This is not the cover they showed me. I'm so bummed because it doesn't match my books. And usually when I buy brand new books, I want them to match the ones I already have. Oh well, I guess. Anyway, this is the 3rd Alex Rider adventure, and basically he goes to the U.S. and helps this CIA unit of agents, and they go and they're investigating this Russian guy who bought weapons-grade uranium, and so that's what they're investigating, because he wants to use this for something, and they want to know why and where, and yeah, so that's the 3rd book. Next, I have Point Blank, which is the 2nd Alex Rider book. I did really like this one. I gave this one 5 stars. I gave Eagle Strike, or Skeleton Key 5 stars as well, but this is one of my favorites in the series so far, rereading them. This one is about this school called Point Blank with a C, not Point Blank with a K. And basically they take in very, very rich boys from very wealthy families to fix them. They're like have problems with the law, like drugs and shoplifting and car theft and just really bad stuff. And so these really rich families send their kids to this school. It's like in Switzerland, I think, or Sweden. I always get those two mixed up. And basically, MI6 is suspicious because 2 of the kids had gone and come back, and then all of a sudden their fathers were killed in accidents, but they had evidence that they were on purpose. And the only connection these people have is that their kids both went to the same school, and so they sent Alex in to investigate. And it turns out to be kind of a crazy plot, and there's a character in this book who continues through the series and causes a lot of trouble for Alex, and it's really sad. If you've read this series and you've read Scorpio Rising, you know what I'm talking about. So sad. And then the last book I read in May was Infamous by Sherry Lynn Kenyon. This is still my favorite series. I put stickies in these books, and this is the second time I've read the 3rd book. I've read 1 through 5. So I've read through Inferno. And I decided to start over because I love them so much. And there's still a bookmark in here. And I'm stickying them, so I've made it through the 3rd book. I don't know when I'll pick up the 4th book, but I absolutely love these books so much. Oh my gosh, I can't even express how much I love these books. And I saw at Walmart she came out with a new book, but it's in the middle of the series, so I didn't buy it. But this is the only series I've read by her. But this series follows a kid named Nick Gaucher, and he lives in New Orleans, and he's not entirely human, and there's a lot of creatures like demons and zombies, and I can't remember. This one has to do with a evil spirit and jealousy and hate, and this evil spirit is kind of making people do things that they normally wouldn't do towards other people who just don't deserve it. I don't know how to explain it very well, but it's kind of like they're possessed by this evil spirit and they're doing extremely malicious things to other people in the school. And that's kind of the main plot of this specific book. But it was really, really good. 5 stars, of course. All of these books have 5 stars. So good. Okay, that is all the books I read in May, so there were 7 of them. 1 2-star read, 3 4-star reads, and 3 5-star reads. So it was a good month in May. I read 7 books, which is great. And then for June, I read 2 novels and 2 graphic novels. So it's kind of a pitiful month. But I read Point Blank and Skeleton Key. I gave both of these 3 stars just because they follow the books perfectly. I mean, they are basically the books, but they do take some stuff out. Like, I did notice in this book, they basically took out a whole chapter, maybe even 2 chapters towards the beginning that were just not there. And it was kind of disappointing because they were pretty good chapters about rich people and kids who have problems. But I was just kind of bummed because they do leave stuff out of the graphic novels that are in the books. And so that's kind of why they got 3 stars. But the illustrations are really good. They're like, I know that the artists are Japanese and that they follow the more traditional manga look, which is kind of cool. Not that I read manga, but I think the illustrations are neat. But yeah, the graphic novels. And then I also read Scorpia, which is the 5th book in the series, and I believe also the longest. I will say this one did feel a little long to me. But I did get through it in June. I finished on the 30th, so just barely finished in June. But this one, in the previous book, Eagle Strike, there is, so in the first book, there's this guy named Yasin Grigorovich, and he's an assassin who kills Alex Rider's uncle. In Eagle Strike, he comes back into the picture, working for, Damian Cray, who is a billionaire making the virtual reality video game, and he gives Alex some hints about his father, which he doesn't know anything about. He never really met him. He was 2 months old, I believe, when he died. And this is a lot about him going to this corporation, Scorpia, who are evil and do bad things for lots of money, and supposedly they knew his father and had connections to him. And so this book is a lot about him finding out about his past. And it's really long. But it was good. It was good. I gave it 4 stars. And then the last book I read... Yeah, the last book I read. But the last book I read in... Or I guess not the last book. I read this at the first. This was the first book I read in the middle of June. But this is the last book I'm talking about because it's my favorite. Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I know a lot of people don't like these books, and I know a lot of people do like these books. And it's kind of got a lot of mixed feelings. One of my bosses read this book, and she really, really liked it. And I had already bought them, the first and second, on Book Outlet when she had told me about this. So I actually ended up lending her the second book so she could read it. And she told me I had to read them. And so, funny story, I went to Spokane with my grandparents, and we went to Costco. And since we didn't get to go to the bookstore, they told me to find a book at Costco, and I found King's Cage up there. And it was the third book, and I was like, well, this is the only book that I really feel like getting, and so I told my grandma that I had read this book and that I liked it, and I hadn't yet. So as soon as I got home, I read it, and I did really, really like it. I gave it 4 stars. This is about this kingdom. Some of the people have red blood, and some of the people have silver blood. I believe it's silver blood. And the silver-blooded people are the rich people, the royalty, the privileged. They have these special powers. The red blood people are kind of like the slaves and servants. They don't have powers, so they're weak. They can be controlled by these more powerful people and all this stuff. And they send all the red people to war if they don't have jobs by the time they turn 16. I changed it. It was actually 18. Then they go to war, and that's their life. So this girl, I can't remember her name. Mare. Yeah, Mare. Has red blood, but she also has a power. And so when lots of silver people who are royalty and close to royalty see her use these powers, they can't just be like, oh my gosh, don't let anybody know that this red has powers. And so they end up making up a story about her being a daughter of a killed general and his wife, and then was adopted secretly by a red family and raised. And so this is their story around her. And so it's a lot about her trying to fit in and just find out the bad secrets about these silver people and surrounding the red people. And it's good. I really liked it. I liked it more than I thought I was going to like it. I was surprised how much I liked it. But anyway, those are all the books I read in May and June. And I did enjoy most of them. There was the one I didn't really like very much. But anyway, that is my video. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!